The latest episode of She-Hulk has a pretty major subplot that has huge implication on mutants in the MCU. And this, going off the back of what we recently found out in regards to Ms. Marvel, paints an interesting picture for what Marvel Studios is doing with the mutants and more than likely with the X-Men. A character in the most recent episode of She-Hulk who is at the center of the subplot of the story is the mutant in Marvel Comics known as Mr. Immortal, aka Craig Hollis. In She-Hulk, it is revealed that, like his name implies, he is immortal. If he dies, he comes back, and he actually uses this to his advantage to get out of multiple marriages throughout time. They explain that he's lived quite a long time, and there's some pretty big implications here. Now, the obvious big one is the fact that since he's lived for such a long time, that he has had this mutant ability ever since, well, he discovered it. So this effectively confirms to us that mutants and people with mutant abilities have already existed in the MCU for quite a long time. And this goes all the way back to what Vision said about Tony Stark. Once he exposed himself to the world and superheroes became more commonplace, more and more people with all sorts of powers are feeling comfortable coming out into the spotlight. This is exactly what he's done. And now it's become central to the plot and the lawsuit he's a part of. But obviously, he's had these powers for quite a long time. And just like Ms. Marvel, they recently discovered, hey, you have this mutant ability as well. There's this mutant power that's connected to you. So now we're getting the backstory that mutants aren't just starting with Ms. Marvel. He's a mutant that's been around for what sounds like hundreds of years, if not thousands. So pretty huge implications here, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do with his powers and what exactly this means for the future. Obviously, aging is going to be a factor, and this could be an interesting way for them to explain why Magneto can still be somebody from World War II and still be in present day, because like the comics, the implication that mutants age slower could be a major factor, and that could be legitimately what's happening with him as well. So Mr. Immortal, a human mutant, is officially now in the MCU, so add another mutant to the tally.